It finally happened.
Hello and welcome to the channel, where I turn video games into glass.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone! To celebrate, I've made another themed video. This time, it is the heart containers from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
I use regular scissors to cut up to the paper pattern outline.
However, I don't use 3-bladed scissors, because I wanted to use an X-Acto knife to cut these out. It did mean more grinding though, to get the pieces to fit. So for the heart, I've got the red and clear glass. And then originally I was going to use this blue. But then I was at the glass shop the other day, and I saw this blue. Now you can kind of tell here, but this glass actually has a texture to it. It's like a slight wavy texture. So I figured this would add some more depth to the glass. I couldn't find any clear glass that had the wavy texture, only the blue one, but I think it should work.
I glue the pattern onto the pieces of glass using Elmer's glue.
Now because this glass is textured a little bit, I can't exactly glue the paper onto it because it's wavy. So what I need to do is glue the paper on the flat side of the textured glass, like this. So the textured side will be the front, and the flat side will be the back.
Using a glass cutter and glass pliers, I cut as close to the pattern as I can and break the glass.
So in order to use the ring saw to cut these out, I need to first drill holes into them.
To drill a hole into the glass, I use a Dremel. I use a container filled with water and a piece of wood. The wood is to make sure I don't drill into the container and create a mess with the water. The water is for reducing the dust and keeping the glass cool. I start at a 45-ish degree angle and slowly bring the Dremel to a vertical position. I don't apply pressure to the Dremel because too much pressure will break the glass. The weight of the Dremel itself is enough and will allow it to drill completely through and not break the glass. To widen the hole, I move the Dremel in a circular motion. It does take longer to drill through thicker glass than thin glass. I use a ring saw to cut the complicated or oddly shaped pieces that would be difficult or impossible to do by hand. The grinder is used to smooth out the cuts and refine the shape. I have a habit of leaving a little more glass on the edges than I should. It's mostly because I want a little more wiggle room when grinding. While it takes longer to grind, it is better than overgrinding. Once I am happy with how the pieces fit, I wash up the paper and glue with water and dish soap. Copper foil is wrapped around the glass and pressed down with burnishing tools to ensure a snug fit. An X-Acto knife is used to cut the corners to fold the foil onto the edges, though I can sometimes get away with just folding the edges over. Before I foil complicated or odd shapes, I put small pieces of foil on each side to prevent the glass from showing if the foil splits. This is called saddling. Foil will split if a curve is too sharp and leave exposed glass, though what counts as too sharp kind of depends. If I'm unsure if the foil will split, I saddle it anyway just to be on the safe side. An X-Acto knife is used to trim the saddled foil, so it lines up with the regular foil. Because I didn't use the 3-bladed scissors, I had to spend extra time grinding. As a result, I overground some parts of the glass, resulting in these gaps. I could use copper wire to fill those gaps in, so the solder doesn't fall through. This is some 16 gauge wire I have, and it'll work just fine. I use push pins to make sure the pieces won't move before I can tack them together. I use 60-40 tin lead solder to stick the pieces together, applying flux before I solder. The flux allows the solder to bond to the copper. Otherwise, the solder won't stick. Once all the pieces are tacked, I remove the push pins and continue soldering. The last time I played Ocarina of Time was on the Nintendo 64. I never beat the game, as I didn't own it but played it at a friend's house. I don't think I cared about the main story much, as I just like to ride Epona everywhere. I haven't played all the Zelda games, let alone beat all of them. I've played A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Skyward Sword. I think the only game I did beat was A Link to the Past, but that was ages ago, and I can't remember how it ended. I make hooks using copper wire and attach them to be able to hang the piece once it is finished. Hooks are soldered in a joint because the weight of the piece is on the joint and not the edge. For smaller, lighter projects, you can get away with attaching hooks to the edge, but not on heavier, larger projects. Once everything cools down, I wash the finished project with water and dish soap, then dry it off.
Well, it finally happened. I finally managed to crack the glass through heat. It's only visible if I tilt the glass, so you should be able to see it just barely. Right here. I'll see if I can put an arrow on it. Right there is where the glass cracked. I'm not sure when it happened, but it happened. The glass ended up getting too hot while I soldered, and it ended up cracking. It's a minor crack, and I'm not going to go back and fix it, because that would mean essentially redoing the entire thing. Here's a better view of the heat crack. Any crack will run the entire length of the glass, and luckily this happened in a small area. If this crack had happened elsewhere, then I would have had to redo everything. But this is small enough that I'm okay with it. This one is fine. I use a patina made specifically for lead that will change the color from silver to black. The excess patina is rinsed off with water. The final thing I do is apply wax to slow down the natural oxidation process. If you want to know more, I have a tutorial playlist where I explain each step in more detail. These came out looking really good, aside from the heat crack. Next time, I'll use the 3-bladed scissors to cut down on the grinding time. I may not have played every Zelda game, but the ones I did, I have enjoyed. I'm also planning on making a certain fairy in a future video, but wanted to make the heart containers first. Happy Valentine's Day, whether you are celebrating with someone or by yourself. Like, share, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.
Let me know what you would like to see me make down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all through the next pane.